My boyfriend has always been aloof, keeping every other woman at a polite arm's length. When the housekeeper handed him his coffee, her fingertip accidentally brushed the back of his hand. He fired her on the spot. All our friends say Adrian is hopelessly in love with me. I used to believe that too, until I walked in on him kissing a woman in the sub-basement garage. The woman was the same housekeeper he'd dismissed. Later, I papered every wall of the penthouse with photos of his cheating, took the money, and walked out. He sobbed. Lydia, don't leave me, please. I'm begging you. Before we go on, hit subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. He kept his head down, lazily scrolling his phone. A ringtone cut through the quiet. Adrian's eyes lit up, feigning calm. He murmured against my ear, Lydia, I need to take this outside. He slipped out of his seat. His frat brother leaned in, beer breath hot on my face. Sis, you know what? Our crew swaps girlfriends like shirts. But him, Adrian the romantic, he worshipped you for 4 years before he even confessed. Every time we drag him out for drinks, your name is all he says. That kind of lovesick is extinct. Another drunken voice barged in. I managed a brittle smile. The old Adrian had never let me suffer the slightest slight. When he learned I had crippling cramps, he didn't hesitate. He hired a top-tier medical team just to regulate my cycle. New season bags, new jewelry, new sports cars, if I liked it. It appeared. He was clingy. Beneath that icy exterior, he was a goofy kid who never ran out of things to tell me. Even on business trips, he'd video call at 2 a.m. But lately Adrian had changed, smiling at his screen for no reason. The moment I leaned in, he'd lock the phone and haul me against his chest. Changing the subject. More calls. Whispered from the balcony. Voice pitched low. When I snaked an arm around his waist in bed, he'd gently peel my hand away. I stared at the ceiling and understood. The boy who loved me was cheating. A minute later Adrian stepped back inside. He laced his fingers through mine, gaze cool, and announced, It's late. Your sis-in-law and I are heading home. Tisk. Prince Sterling's a gentleman. Even a single dog like me's jealous. Catcalls echoed around the private lounge. I looked down. My knuckles whitened around the glass. Adrian said nothing. Neither did I. The car glided through the night. When the elevator doors opened on our floor, he pulled me into a fierce, wine-scented hug. Lydia, I love you so damn much. He mumbled. I stood rigid, letting him hold me. Adrian. His phone rang. I pulled free. He glanced at the screen, brows knitting. Go on in. I left something in the car. I hesitated. Okay. Without another word he stepped back into the elevator. I watched the numbers drop. I knew he was going to her. 3 years together. How does love just rot? I bit my lip and jabbed the call button for the second lift. Around the corner came a voice I recognized. Sterling, can't you feel how much I love you? The woman cooed, tugging his sleeve, pleading soft and low. June, I've told you, drop it. His tone was ice, but it quavered. That night we worked late. You reacted. You wanted enough. Know your place. You're just an assistant. Adrian's face flushed. He cut her off. My nails sliced crescents into my palms. Painlessly, the woman who'd hooked him. June, the unremarkable former housekeeper. June is 5 years older than Adrian. Plain, plump, but her eyes, those eyes, could lure sails off boats. When she first arrived, she played petty games. Adrian saw through her and warned, pull that again and you're gone. June teared up instantly. Sorry, Sterling. I didn't mean to. The warning didn't stick. Once, while I watched, she traced a slow circle on his hand with her finger as she passed his coffee. Adrian's face darkened. He sacked her on the spot. She threw him a wounded glance on her way out. I thought that was the end. Now she's his personal assistant, and bolder than ever. My heart felt encased in ice. June's soft bulk blocked his path, begging him to stay. But it's my birthday. No one remembers. No one cares. I'm so alone. I know I'm not worthy. I shouldn't bother you, but I can't help it. Could you spend just one birthday with me? I swear I'll vanish after. She wrapped her arms around his waist from behind. Adrian flinched but didn't shove her off. A long silence. Then, June, we're not right for each other. She let go and stepped back, voice trembling. Sorry, Sterling. Pretend I said nothing. Tomorrow I'll hand in my resignation letter. She turned to leave, playing the tragic heroine. Don't you dare. Adrian's eyes reddened. He seized her wrist. June gasped as he spun her against the wall. His mouth crashed onto hers. The wet click of their kiss echoed through the empty garage. I fled, stomach heaving. Adrian had pedigree, perfect grades, lethal looks. For straight years as campus royalty, girls confessed. He politely declined. Everyone said he was untouchable, yet that untouchable boy set his sights on me. We We met at a club dinner sophomore year. He sat opposite me at a round table for 12. We never spoke, never even locked eyes. He stayed remote, polite, bored. When the crowd dispersed, I lingered, swiping on lip balm. Adrian blocked my path, voice gentle. Hey, let's swap numbers for club logistics. Startled, I added him anyway. Bit by bit, he wove himself into my days, and the chemistry caught fire. Still, neither of us spelled it out. Commencement afternoon, he grabbed my wrist. Lydia, I'm done pretending. I sat on the couch, time blurring. Adrian walked in carrying a fruit crate. Durian, my favorite. He never forgot. I stared at the rug, avoiding his face. The cushion dipped. He settled beside me. Cheap perfume, cloying and sharp, invaded my nose. He chatted about nothing, the way he always did. His lower lip was swollen, a streak of crimson at the corner. Lydia, try this durian. If it's good, I'll have my secretary air freight more crates. He arranged the pulp on a plate like always. Back when we first moved in together, tastes collided. I loved durian. He gagged at the smell, so I never ate it around him. He secretly ordered 4 boxes of munthong, ate 3 until he puked, then landed in the I burst in to find him on N4. I shook his collar, half crying. Are you out of your mind? He swiped a thumb under my eye, just felt like a change. Haley showed up with a fruit basket and whistled. Only a maniac risks food poisoning for love. Adrian noticed my silence. He turned, saw tears streaking my cheeks, panicked. He dabbed with a tissue. Baby, what's wrong? Who hurt you? Nothing, just a cheating hero novel. It wrecked me. I mumbled. His hand paused. Color drained from his face. The phone on the coffee table buzzed. He flicked a glance. Skip those books. They're toxic. He lifted a piece of durian to my lips. Here, taste this. Before I could, the ringtone sliced through again. Adrian, your call. Might be urgent? I smiled, eyes cold. He blinked, distracted. Nothing's more important than you. I took a small bite. Creamy, sweet, perfect. It's bitter. I lied. The ringing stopped. Adrian's mind was elsewhere. He didn't answer. Adrian, the durian's bitter. I said again. Bitter. Then don't eat it. Must have gone bad. He snapped out of it and tossed the fruit into the trash. The phone rang again. Adrian finally lost his patience. He picked it up, flashed me a smile. I'll take this outside. And don't finish the durian, it'll wreck your stomach. He stepped onto the terrace and slid the soundproof door shut behind him. I couldn't see his face, couldn't catch a word. 3 minutes later, Adrian came back, grabbed his coat, mouth opening and closing. I knew what he wanted to say. You're heading out now. Urgent sterling business. I have to go. He turned toward the door. I stayed silent for a few beats, then asked, Adrian, do you know what today is? His hand froze on the knob. He thought for a second. Memory seemed to hit. He looked annoyed. He walked over, remorse flickering in his eyes. Sorry, I forgot it's our 3rd anniversary. He leaned in to kiss my forehead. I turned my face away. The room was so quiet I could hear us breathe. A flash of impatience crossed Adrian's eyes. Funny, gentlemen could look like that. The phone rang again. I'll make the gift up to you tomorrow. He slammed the door before I could answer. I followed him at a distance. Adrian stopped outside a townhouse complex in Beverly Hills. June was already on the curb, waiting. They hugged and kissed the second they met. Soon they drove off. I tailed the GPS and parked down the block from the Grand Hotel Los Angeles. Adrian and June appeared at the entrance. He carried a cake. She held roses, curling an arm through his. I swallowed the bile and snapped a few photos with my phone. I watched them disappear inside. I sat in the car until my pulse leveled, then called Mom in Sydney, Australia. Mom, I'm going to come see you soon. I fought the tears, but she caught the catch in my voice. Honey, what happened? Did Adrian hurt you? We're breaking up. I'll be fine in a couple of days. Don't cry, sweetheart. Someone better is waiting for you here. Okay, my parents emigrated last year for work. I'd trusted love, stayed for Adrian, never filed my papers. Who knew expiration would come so fast? Staying is pointless now. I opened the Australian embassy site and applied for a visa. I woke gasping from a nightmare at dawn. Adrian strolled in, fresh and smug. Seeing me awake, he pulled out a rose diamond pendant. His pale eyes sparkled. Lydia, your 3rd anniversary gift. Like it? I stared at him flatly. All that urgent work finished? His gaze flickered, but a grin tugged at his mouth. Yep, wrapped up at dawn. Come on, let me clasp it. No, I'm changing. I cut him cold. He looked puzzled but shrugged. Fine, I'll leave it on the nightstand. Long night, shower first. Adrian, would you ever betray me? I stopped him. One last chance, after all these years. If we confessed, we could still part clean. He paused, expression flawless. I'd never. Don't overthink. Lydia, my heart finally hit the floor. The boy who once held me under fireworks and swore he'd marry me in 3 years was dead. Stone cold dead. My phone buzzed. I frowned at the screen. That profile picture made my stomach flip. June hadn't typed a word, just a video. I hesitated, then pressed play. Leftover cake and a wine bottle framed the shot. June, in a black lace mini dress that pinched her waist rolls, perched on the bed. Adrian stood bare-chested, lids half-masked, fingers stroking her short hair. Tired, relaxed. June smirked at the lens and flashed the rose-pink solitaire on her right ring finger. I whipped my gaze to the nightstand, empty. She cooed. "Thank you for the diamond, Adrian. I'm so happy." Adrian's husky voice, breath ragged. "Stop talking, hurry." June gave a kitten smile. "Okay, Junie will obey." Her hand slid south. I killed the clip. Blood coated my tongue. I forced myself calm. I scanned the necklace tag with my phone, exactly the free gift that came with June's ring. A laugh ripped out of me. I grabbed his phone and typed the passcode. Wrong. Ice crawled under my skin. Even he knew he was guilty. I stared at the bathroom door, his off-key humming drifting through. I messaged Haley. "Babe, free right now?" Seconds later, "What's wrong?" "On my way." I put his phone back, wiped my face. Adrian came out, shot me a furtive glance, and checked his messages. "Off to the study, work to finish." I changed clothes and passed the study. Low murmurs leaked through. "Behave, get some rest." Sweet enough to rot teeth. One night and they're inseparable. I gave a cold chuckle, grabbed my bag, and headed out. Adrian rushed from the study. "Wait, Lydia. Business trip tomorrow." I glanced back. His eyes darted everywhere. "How long?" I asked, slipping on my shoes, voice flat. "About a week." "Big sterling deal," he said, casual as ordering coffee. "Fine." In the private lounge, Haley burst in breathless. She scanned me, worry spilling over. "What happened?" My eyes burned. "Adrian's cheating." I spilled every disgusting detail. "Bastard." Haley slammed the table, eyes blazing, desperate. "Right. Swallowing anything?" I stared at my lap while she raged. When she cooled, she asked, "What do we do?" I never regretted loving Adrian. One betrayal, lifetime ban. Life is simple. If you can lift it, you can drop it. I answered without blinking. "We break up. Men are for screening, not training." Back in the penthouse, June's teasing had Adrian hard. At the crucial second the lock turned, he jerked away. June pouted. I stepped in. Adrian was pretending to rinse a glass in the kitchen. June smoothed her skirt in slow motion. Not a word spoken, yet the air reeked of sex. "June's my personal assistant now." I asked her to pack. A flash of guilt crossed his face. "Move it. Get my suits," he barked. "Yes, Sterling." June lifted her chin at me, lips curled in fake hurt. She flicked her pink diamond at eye level. I sneered. I strode to the bedroom for documents. A rustle sounded behind me. June had hooked Adrian's black briefs on one finger. She smirked. "Sterling's briefs are so big, don't you think, Lydia?" I snorted. "About the size of your pig face." "You?" June's face twisted. I marched to Adrian and handed in my resignation. Adrian texted, "Lydia, when are you home? I made your favorites." I darkened the screen. Evening. Back at the penthouse. The dining table overflowed with platters. June carried seafood from the kitchen. Spotting me at the door, her mouth curled. "Sterling." "Lydia's back," she sing-songed, voice shrill. Adrian emerged, drying his hands. Pleased. "You're home. June just taught me a new recipe. Try it." Sterling learns so fast. I only showed him once. "Everything's delicious." June beamed, challenge in her eyes. They bantered like a couple while I stood there, the invited stranger. June set down another dish. The sapphire drop necklace slipped from her collar. My heart clenched. I rushed to the bedroom and yanked open the jewelry box. "It's empty." "Why are you wearing my pendant?" I stormed back, fingers stabbing at her throat, voice shaking. June jumped, instantly twisting her face into grievance. "I only wanted to buy a necklace and asked Sterling for an opinion. He told me to try on the pendant, and I just forgot to take it off." As she spoke, she slipped the sapphire drop necklace from her throat with theatrical meekness. Adrian frowned slightly, turning to me with a note of disappointment. "It's only a pendant. I'll buy you another tomorrow." "Don't be so aggressive." If she were going to steal something, she would have done it back when she was still the housekeeper. "This necklace belonged to my grandmother before she died." The words scraped out from between my clenched teeth. I snatched the pendant from June's hand and swung the bedroom door shut behind me. June's voice cracked, soaked in fake hurt. "Sterling. Sterling doesn't welcome me. Maybe I should just head home." Adrian was visibly irritated. He thumped on the door a few times, anger muffled. "Lydia, stop being childish. Come out and apologize to June right now." "Sterling, it's my fault. I shouldn't have touched her pendant." "Sterling, please don't be angry. Don't let me ruin your relationship." June played the innocent peacemaker to perfection. I gave a cold laugh and placed the pendant back in its velvet box. One by one I checked every compartment of the the jewelry case. Nothing else was missing. I exhaled, shoulders loosening. When I still didn't emerge, Adrian's brows drew together. You got June fired from her housekeeper job, and instead of being grateful she hasn't sued you, you're giving everyone attitude? Lydia, I'm saying it for the last time, get out here and apologize. My face darkened. I yanked the door open. She lost her job. Who told you I had anything to do with it? Adrian thrust his phone at me. This complaint call specifically demanded she be dismissed. He pressed play. My expression soured. The woman's voice on the recording sounded eerily like mine. Explain this voice. Adrian's tone was frosty. That voice isn't mine. If you don't believe me, call the cops. My fingers trembled, but I forced myself to stay calm. The agency said the caller used a burner app. You want me to slam the proof in your face? His fists clenched. June suddenly sniffled. Sterling, I'd like to go home. I don't feel well. Adrian glanced at her with pity, voice softening. I'll drive you. Maybe my stare was too cold, too full of loathing, because Adrian's heartbeat fluttered. He quickly gentled his tone for me. June is my personal assistant now. Let's consider the complaint water under the bridge and drop it. Be good. Stop making a scene. Stay home. I'll bring you a present later. As they left, June shot me a smug little grin. I sank onto the sofa, drained. 3 years of love, and it shattered this easily. I laughed, until the laughter turned into sobs. From the corner of my eye I spotted a torn pink wrapper in the trash. A condom. My face went chalk white, nausea flooding my chest, swallowing the bile. I crammed a few random clothes into a bag and checked into a penthouse suite at the Grand Hotel Los Angeles. That night Adrian rang again and again. I let it go to voicemail. Eventually I powered the phone off, disappeared for 2 days, then returned to the penthouse. Adrian was gone. A frosty note lay on the counter. I've spoiled you too much. Don't contact me unless it's urgent. Reflect on your behavior. I crumpled the note and threw it away, then began packing in earnest. Just then the doorbell rang. I peered through the peephole and my pupils dilated. The moment I opened, bodyguards strode in and professionally killed the living room camera. The matriarch, clicking across the marble in stilettos, didn't even bother to look at me. She brushed past and claimed the center of the sofa. Her features were 70% Adrian's. I poured a glass of water and set it before her. Eleanor sized me up with contempt, curling her lip. Lydia, do you know why I'm here? I glanced at the bodyguards, my gaze icy. You want me to leave Adrian? The sentence left my mouth steady, almost calm. 2 years ago she'd warned me not to dream of marrying into the Sterlings, yet she hadn't stopped me from dating her son. I'd long understood, whoever Adrian dated was irrelevant. Only a pedigree match would reach the altar. Eleanor's appearance meant the family needed him back for an alliance, and first they had to scrub his woman clean from his life. Smart girl. Eleanor lifted her right hand. The butler placed a cashier's check in it. She laid the slip on the coffee table. $5 million. Enough for a girl of your background to squander for life. I didn't move. If you refuse. Her voice dropped. A flick of her fingers. Instantly 2 bodyguards pinned my arms. I struggled. Useless. Pain flaring in my wrists. I never said I refuse. The words hissed through my teeth. They released me. Eleanor chuckled. Sign. I'll wire the money this afternoon. You have 3 days to move out and never contact him again. Once the ink dried I was alone again. Adrian's last messages were from 2 days earlier. What the hell is your tantrum about? Where are you? Pick up. Fine. Stay unreachable. Don't ever come crawling back. I opened Instagram. June's newest post popped up. I realized I hadn't blocked her. The geotag was a private island resort in the Caribbean. In the photo a man sat in the hot spring, back to the camera, arms draped on stone, idly scrolling his phone. Caption, CEO can't stop clinging to me. What should I do? I smirked, screenshotted, and sent it to Haley. Babe, run an errand for me. I laid out my plan, then blocked June. I fished a beer from the fridge, cracked it, and tipped half the can down my throat. Cold foam spilled over my collarbone. I coughed at the sting. Terrible beer. My visa came through within days. The penthouse was stripped of everything that was mine. The rest went into trash bags. Lydia, want this box? Haley held out an elegant lacquered case. Inside lay stacks of love letters. I closed my eyes and flashed back to the night we moved in together. These are for you. Adrian set the box in my lap. Ears pink. It held a dozen numbered envelopes. I slid the first open. The handwriting was neat but shaky. The day you ran past me. The breeze from your hair brushed my cheek and the scent lingered 3 full turns around my head. I looked up. He quickly looked away. How sweet was the scent. He only gestured for me to keep reading. The second envelope spilled photos of me at campus club events. On the back of one, she looks amazing here. Setting this as my phone wallpaper. When did you sneak these? guess. He grinned, slow and wicked. I fanned through more pages until the paper felt hot in my hands. Wasn't it torture to bottle this up so long? He buried his face in my neck and mumbled. I wanted to confess, but the moment I saw you I chickened out. I opened my eyes and sighed. I fetched a metal basin from the kitchen and said flatly, burn them. En route to JFK Airport my phone buzzed with texts from an unknown number. Adrian and June's bridal shoot. Adrian in a black tux, absent-mindedly circling June's thick waist. June in white, layers of makeup failing to hide her puffy, aging face. When she smiled her cheeks swallowed her eyes into two slits. You lost. You lived with him 3 years and never had a bridal shoot. I got one in 2 months. Break up with him already. You can't beat me. June proclaimed her victory, gloating. I laughed coldly. She won. I hadn't lost. I didn't reply. I logged into the carrier's site and requested instant number termination. Adrian had been restless for days. June murmured sweetly beside him. It only grated on his nerves. He knew he didn't even like her type. Yet here they were. June read his impatience. Feigning confession. Eyes shimmering. She said, before we end this, I want one bridal shoot with you. What? Adrian was stunned. June bit her lip and tapped her phone. Seconds later his banking app pinged with a fresh deposit. I love you. I don't want your money or your gifts. She pushed the diamond ring and designer bags toward him. Blushing, she whispered. Taking bridal photos with the man I love is my dream, and I want that man to be you. Adrian pressed his lips together, then finally said, all right. June's lips curled in triumph. On the 6th day Adrian came home early. Outside the penthouse door he fidgeted, clutching a bouquet and a ring box. He drew a deep breath and stepped inside. Lydia, the words jammed in his throat. Above the living room LED ticker scrolled in neon red, Adrian. I, Lydia, am breaking up with you. Don't try to find me, otherwise I'll expose every dirty secret. Blown up 32-inch photos glared from every wall. Each frame caught him cheating with June. Screenshots from his phone lined both sides of the hallway. I've touched and kissed every inch of him. He's completely mine now. He says only I can satisfy him. To be blunt, that recording was AI generated. I hired a couple of shills to back me up and he walked straight into the trap. Sweetie, you're still too green to play against me. Adrian's face went chalk white, his stomach lurching. At that moment a timer clicked. The voice recorder in the corner started to loop through the living room. Thank you for the diamond ring. Adrian, I'm so happy. Stop talking, just hurry. Okay, I'll be good, baby. Thank you for the diamond ring. Adrian, I'm so happy. Stop talking, just hurry. Okay, I'll be good, baby. Shut up, eyes bloodshot. Adrian smashed the recorder under his heel until it was splinters. He stared at the evidence plastered across the walls, then lunged and clawed the photos down like a madman. After a few frenzied rips he froze. Lydia, where are you? He bolted for the bedroom. The closet doors gaped wide, every piece of my clothing was gone. Bathroom, guest room, study, no trace of me anywhere. Hands shaking, he yanked out his phone and dialed my number. The number you have reached is not in service. Impossible, he whispered. He opened our chat. I had already blocked and deleted him. A cough tore from his throat. Spattered blood dotted the marble floor. Lydia, no. No way, he muttered, wiping his mouth. He snatched the car keys and sprinted out. Adrian blew through 3 red lights and screeched to a stop outside my former office. The receptionist blinked at his famous face. Ms. Carter resigned 7 days ago. His mind went blank. He stood frozen. Suddenly his phone rang. Adrian glanced down. June's name glared on the screen. His fist clenched, trembling at his side. He answered through gritted teeth. June. June had changed into a skin-tight catsuit. She'd gained 10 pounds lately and could barely squeeze in, but she didn't care. This body type drove Adrian wild. Thinking of it, her cheeks flushed hot. When the doorbell rang her heart skipped. She skipped over and pulled the door open, eyes lighting up. Before she could finish he grabbed her by the hair and yanked her inside. Cheap slut, he snarled, eyes shot with red veins. What gives you the right to taunt her? Her smile shattered as she stared at the berserk man. You're nothing but a whore. Did you actually think you were the lady of the house? He screamed. June thrashed, trying to wriggle free, but Adrian slammed her onto the glass coffee table. Adrian, I'm sorry, I'll never. The crash of shattering glass and her shriek echoed through the penthouse. Blood streamed from her forehead, staining her bloated face crimson. Neighbors heard the screaming and called the cops. June was rushed to the hospital. Adrian was hauled off and held for 3 days. 3 months later I was in Australia hand-feeding kangaroos at a wildlife sanctuary. Adrian appeared out of nowhere. The sight of him was shocking. The once suntanned golden boy was gaunt, haggard, eyes red-rimmed. He looked like a stranger. I stepped around him, but he seized my wrist. Lydia, can we talk talk, please? I shook him off. The light in his eyes dimmed instantly. There's nothing left to say. Adrian, let's part on decent terms. His eyes watered. I'm so sorry. I love you. I can't lose you. Did you have fun taking bridal shots with June? I cut in. Adrian flinched, face draining of color. I didn't. She was manipulating me. Her mind games were next level. How could I ever want that woman? I stared at him, disgust pooling cold in my chest. You're still making excuses. You swore you loved me. Yet when June framed me, you never asked for my side. Never bothered to investigate. Just dumped every sin on me. 3 years together lost to some fling with trash. What happens next time, Lisa? Maria? I kept my voice flat. Icy. You're not worth a backward glance. Adrian, you're vile. Stay out of my life. I'm not a landfill obligated to process your garbage. His pupils contracted. Lips quivered. No words came. He felt hollowed out. Shoulders sagging. When did you first find out? I sighed. I saw you kissing June in the parking garage. That night I asked what day it was. Remember your answer? Adrian's face turned paper white. I turned away and climbed into the car. As I pulled off, I glanced in the rearview mirror. The man behind me tried to chase, only to take a kangaroo hoof to the gut. He stumbled and hit the dirt. Later Adrian tracked down my address and loitered on the curb every day. I had the cops escort him off. He was dragged away. A few days later he reappeared. Again and again, he never tired. Finally I booked a one-way ticket and set off on a tour of Europe. His family hauled him back stateside. Not long after, Haley texted Adrian was in trouble. His affair with June had detonated across every domestic trending tabloid hashtag. June dumped 100+ explicit photos with Adrian plus a positive pregnancy test online. Post after post accused the Sterling heir of using and discarding her. A tycoon heir knocking up his former housekeeper. The gossip rocketed to the top. Hashtag Sterling heir, hashtag Adrian and June, hashtag Sterling Prince scandal, hashtag how to hook rich men. The PR nightmare tanked Sterling's stock. The ticker nosedived. Next morning hashtag Sterling chairman hospitalized trended. Within a week the chairman whisked the illegitimate heir home from abroad. Adrian was stripped of his title. The illegitimate son became the new crown prince. The same day the board announced his engagement to the Wong heiress. Adrian's frat brothers slowly distanced themselves. Everyone could see the Sterlings had cut him loose, getting trapped by a middle-aged housekeeper. His life was finished, but the saga wasn't over. The internet soon delivered a second act. Cybersleuths unearthed June's backstory. That June used to be Linda, targets old men as a live-in housekeeper. Plain looking, but she coos like a doll and flatters them into circles. Finally snagged a rich, handsome young stud. Of course she'd cling to that cash cow. Top comments. Can't believe a trust fund prince is into this. How does he stomach that bloated face? Adrian was campus royalty. Girls confessed daily. He turned them all down. I know. He finally proposed to the girl he'd crushed on forever. Everyone expected a fairy tale wedding. Yet the ice prince crashed and burned on a chubby housekeeper. June, drop a tutorial ASAP or I'll report you. Adrian's body is fire. June ate well. Stop. I'm gonna puke. I scrolled, then locked my phone. Disgusting. Yes, but none of it concerned me anymore. The final news reached me when I flew home to finalize my emigration papers. Every post about Adrian and June had been bought off and erased. June's accounts were nuked, unemployed, and broke. She refused to quit. She parked herself outside Sterling headquarters, live streaming while cradling her belly, wailing and creating chaos. Even the cops couldn't remove her. Soon after Adrian discovered he'd contracted an STD, he stormed over to June, punching and cursing. In the scuffle, they stumbled into traffic and were flung by a car. Adrian lost both legs and his mind. The Sterlings shipped him to a foreign sanatorium. June's fetus didn't survive. The crash left her in a vegetative state. I set the phone down and sipped my coffee. Mom rang right on cue, cheerful as ever. Sweetie, Grandpa Foo's grandson is in Australia. Want to meet him? Sure. I'll head back once the paperwork's done. I answered calmly, a small smile tugging at my lips. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked it, please like and share with friends. We look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.